When is a 4-bar loop not a 4-bar loop? When you play it in half time. Hiya kids, how you doing? Nice to see you back for another half-arsed tutorial. Today I am going to be looking at how you can create longer loops than 4 bars on the model samples. And I'm not going to be using any conditional triggers here. Conditional triggers are incredibly useful and I use them quite a lot, but they do have some limitations. As we all know, the model samples has got a few tricks to help you create those longer loops. The technique I'm going to use can involve losing some resolution to your steps, but it will allow you more control over those longer loops. Probably the most common way is to use parameter locks and conditional triggers. Each step can have a different amount of parameters locked to them, so you can change things like the decay of the sample, the actual sample itself, the start time, or the amount of reverb send. These can change with every step and be changed on every step, allowing you huge control over the sequencer, and is one of the things that I really like about Elektron's sequencing model. Using parameter locks, you can apply certain conditional triggers to steps, which will say that they should not play or they should play depending upon certain conditions. So you can say that if the previous step has played, I don't want the next step to play. But you can also tell certain steps to only play once they've been repeated a few times. So the longest that you can set a conditional trigger for repeating is every 8 loops. This means that once your loop has gone round the 4 bars 8 times, it will set that conditional trigger off. And if you work out the maths quickly, 4 times 8 is 32. So using this conditional trigger, you can set a loop which is 32 bars long. Once you've set a conditional on a step, you can't use that to do anything else. So if you wish to do a little trill or a run at the end of every 4 bars or every bar, you couldn't use a step where the conditional was placed. This can limit what you can do with the patterns. With some careful programming and a bit of imagination, you can create longer patterns though. The first thing you need to do is go to the scale menu by pressing function and page at the same time. You then scroll down and set the multiplier to 1/2. This effectively turns your 1 bar loop, or 16 steps, into 2 bars. Each 16th step then becomes an 8th step. From here, you can build the bare bones of a 2-bar groove using 8th steps to construct it. For each step, we can use parameter locks to choose whether it's going to be a kick beat or a snare drum. Once we have our groove, we can go back to the scale page and extend from 16 steps to 32 steps. In that way, we turn our 2-bar loop into a 4-bar loop. Eighth notes can give a quite solid and satisfying groove, but I kind of like things to be a little bit more interesting than that. Generally, I add variation by using 16th notes. As I'm sure you've worked out, the problem we have here is that we've only got 8th notes to place beats on. However, using parameter locks, we can put notes in between each 8th step. You pick the 8th beat either before or after the step that you want to put in. Then you go to the swing or nudge control and gradually move it either forward or backwards until you reach 1/32. That 30-second beat will hit exactly halfway between each 8th beat, meaning that you can add 16th ghost notes onto your pattern. Once you've got something you like and added a bit more to your groove, you can then go back to the scale page and this time change it from 32 to 64. In that way, you now have 8 bars. Again, you can now go back and edit that and put in slight changes and variations on those additional 2 bars. There is a problem with this though. What if you want to put 2 notes in? Remember we said one of the problems with using parameter locks and conditionals was that you couldn't use a step again, so that you wouldn't be able to put trills or runs in where a conditional lock had been put in. If you need to put a roll in which plays 2 hits, one on the 8th beat and one on the 16th beat following it, you can do this by using parameter locks. You place the beat on the 8th note before, and then using the loop and the sample length, you parameter lock a roll into place. I know this is only 8 bars and not the 32 that you can do with conditionals, but if you think about it and you put the odd conditional in using this technique as well, you could change that potential 32 bar loop to a 64 bar loop, though I'm not quite sure why. To be fair, because of some of the other techniques that we can use to create more interesting drum patterns, this technique is probably better suited to longer melodies. However, I think it's easier to see what's going on when programming a beat. That's it this time round. I hope you've enjoyed, hope you found something useful. Please press the like button because that really helps people find this channel. If you've made it to the end because you found this channel because somebody pressed the like button, then I think you need to subscribe. If you like half-arsed tutorials and you're not subscribed, you really need to subscribe. And remember what they say at the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation: share and enjoy. Bye kids.